Turn the jacket inside out. Pressure tape can be very helpful in controlling the inner collar as it is sewn down. Keep in mind the inner collar will need to stretch slightly to fit the neck opening. Instead of using a solid piece of pressure tape, multiple smaller pieces will allow the collar to stretch. Place pressure tape to the right side of the collar within the finished seam allowance. Remember, only sew along the back collar, not the side collar for now. Pull off the paper cover. Turn the seam allowance and press the inner collar seam line along the seam line of the bodice and outer collar. Additional pins can be used to hold the gaps in place. Top stitch using a walking foot with a longer 3.5 stitch length or a stretch stitch. Remember, only sew along the back collar, not the side collar for now. For the front collar, hand stitch with a slip stitch to secure the inner side collar with a nearly invisible stitch along the front collar line. Turn the jacket inside out. Pin the inner collar down with the seam allowance tucked inside the collar. To perform a slip stitch, start on either side of the inner collar. All stitching should be concealed. Think of slip stitching as dashes and dots. Take a long stitch from within the seam allowance of the collar, and then take a very short stitch on the front center piece, grabbing only a few threads. Verify that you cannot see the needle on the right side of the bodice. If you can, repeat the process, taking fewer threads. Repeat the dashes and dots along the side collar. When you have completed the length of the side collar using your slip stitch, secure the thread with a knot. And with that, you have an invisible inner collar with only small stitch dots on the front.